The Women's March to Versailles was on October 5, 1789. Food was scarce and prices were through the roof. People were getting frustrated. Impatient, they raided the city hall, seizing weapons and getting firearms. Even then, they would improvise, using kitchen knives or any weapons they found. About 7,000 women joined this march to Versailles, and when there, they stood in front of the king's palace demanding that he give them bread. Intimidated, King Louis XVI gave in, agreeing to their demand. The women also demanded that the king come with them, and eventually the king was in his carriage following them back to Paris.
The storming of Bastille. The storming of Bastille happened on July 14, 1789. The people marched over to this almost empty prison with hunger, fear of royal troops, and furious with the monarch's tyranny. They saw gunpowder and arms stored there. This symbolized royal oppression, and they wanted to defend themselves with the weapons stored in the cells. They marched demanding for weapons, and after their long standoff, the people won.
The Reign of Terror was a time of paranoia and violence starting September 5, 1793 to 1794. It was caused by extreme paranoia about food shortages, wars, divisions, and belief that violence was needed. Maximilian Rosebery and the Committee of Public Safety led this violent event, which led to execution, usually by the guillotine, and mass arrest.
Witch hunt. This was in 1692, where many were accused of witchcraft and many lost trust within each other. People who were seen as different would be labeled as witches. While men were also accused, women seem to have been the easier target because they were seen as more credulous, naive, and were known to have slippery tongues. They would get blamed for poor crops, sick animals, and stillborn children. Many who have been accused would be tortured until they have falsely confessed and then get killed. The witch hunt only lasted a year, but many have lost their lives because of it. Many began to wonder if the witch hunt began all because they needed someone to blame for all the bad things happening.
The Spanish succession started from 1701 to 1714. There was a conflict in Europe after childless King Charles II died, with French Bourbon Philip of Anjou as heir. Philip was threatening a superstate of France and Spain. Britain, the Dutch Republic, and Austria felt threatened, so they came together to fight back to keep European power balanced. The war then ended with the Treaty of Utrecht. The English Civil War began in August 1642 and ended 1651, which was one of the first major battles the English had. Furthermore, King Charles I would try to assert his authority, which only sparked resistance among Parliament, and the significance of the first battle on Edge Hill marked the beginning of armed conflict, and led to the execution of King Charles. This was a defining moment of the war because Parliament essentially asserted dominance and Commonwealth was established.
Dutch Revolt. The Dutch Revolt started in 1568 and officially ended on January 30th, 1648. The revolt had started because of many issues with religion, politics, and even financial issues. This revolt was a protest against Spanish rule and religious persecution. The person who led the Dutch rebels was William of Orange, and they fought against the Spanish forces. Both groups were in battles full of violence. They had formed a union at Odebrecht, which declared the Dutch independent from Spain. The war kept going until the Treaty of Westphalia was created and put an end to the war.
The 30 Years' War started from 1618 to 1648. It was caused by the tension between Roman Catholics and Protestants. When the Letter of Majesty was delivered to Ferdinand II, he revoked it. It all started with noble men throwing royal officials out the window. There were 4 phases: the Bohemian phase, Danish phase, Swedish phase, and French phase. The Bohemian phase was the Battle of White Horse and was between Catholics and Protestants. Catholics won. The Danish phase was when Christian IV formed an alliance with the Swedish king. The Holy Roman Emperor then issued the Edict of Restitution. The Swedish phase was when the Swedish king Gustav Adolphus joined the Protestants and won 2 major battles. Lastly, the French phase was the longest phase, and by the end Germany was economically in shambles. After 30 years they realized that fighting was doing nothing, then issued the Peace of Westphalia that gave German princes freedom, and Calvinism, Lutheranism, and Catholicism were made legal.
The Black Death. The Black Death was a bubonic plague that had lasted from 1346 to 1353. It had killed about 2/3 of Europe's population. The cause of this plague was caused by fleas on rats. It is said to have originated in Asia and due to trading got spread to Europe. Due to the 1346 not being the cleanest and healthiest, the disease was able to spread quickly. Some of the symptoms included headaches, swollen lymph nodes, and weakness. Humans got the disease from getting bit from the fleas, though many thought it was God punishing them. The plague had ended from lack of population, people going into quarantine, and black rats becoming more popular than brown.
Around 1450, Johannes Gutenberg made the printing press. It helped do mass production and accelerated learning. This helped many more people get educated and it was more accessible. The invention of the printing press also helped to spread ideas all throughout Europe, making it one of the most important inventions during its time.